Hello, my name is Carly Shishka, and I'm a student advisor at the Student Success Center with Lakehead University. And today we're going to be looking at the advanced level of resume strategies within this workshop. So, when it comes to resume, obviously your sections are very, very important as far as providing organization and content for the employers to understand. With this, there's some must haves that we really want to focus on, but there's also other sections that would provide added value, and these can really be the defining features as well, too. So, a lot of important considerations that we're going to be discussing today. So to begin by looking at some of the must-have sections, we really want to make sure that our name and contact information is clear, as this is imperative when it comes to employers knowing not only who they're potentially going to hire, but how to contact them as well. When it comes to education, work experience, volunteer experience, these are also really helpful sections to help the employer understand who you are, your past work history, how you are as an individual, and what potentially you may bring for them as well. Other sections with added value are summary of skills, relevant coursework, academic projects, a career objective, awards, publications, certifications, and associations. So if you have these can be really strong assets for you to include within your resume document or mention within your cover letter as well. And this is essentially what we're going to be discussing today. So when it comes to discussing our contact information, we want to make sure that we have a really simple and clear format that really prioritizes the full framework of our paper's formatting. So as you can see, we have centered and bolded the name of our individual, and left-hand justified, we have key important information such as the address and location of the individual. And on the other side, right-hand justified, we have their contact information as far as their phone number and their email address. So just know as we go throughout these slides, whenever you see box around information like this is essentially just to help you with understanding how the formatting is to be within what we recommend as a very effective method. So adding extra value to this could involve having your LinkedIn profile included within there or other links to personal profile pages such as portfolios, whatever the employer might ask for or you could think would be extra special for you to include on there. And again, that information would be located just below your location and your email address within this space over here. Another section that you might want to consider adding if you think it could provide extra value is your work permit status. For example, saying if your co-op work permit is pending. This could be really helpful for employers to know and just have that general feel before they go towards the rest of your resume and see the rest of your content you have included within that. So when it comes to including your education within or within your resume, sorry, we want to make sure that again, this is very easily identifiable for them to see. So we only want to include what's really most necessary when it comes to your actual education. So having the degree title included first, as long as the dates with it beside it, the institution and the location, all really what they want to see more than anything else. Other things could include bullet points of relevant courses you've taken for the position you're applying towards, a GPA if that's mentioned as being really important, or if it's essentially a high standard that you've set for yourself. It can say a lot about the skills that you bring towards that. Of course, we definitely want to make sure that we don't have our high school education on here. Sometimes it's felt like it's necessary, but just know that if you are within a university institution, it is assumed that you have completed high school and quite well too. So that's not needed within this specific section. And you're more than welcome to include your master's on here as well. Any college, anything as far as a post secondary institution, you're more than welcome to include within this section, within this formatting as well. So, when it comes to including our professional experience, we want to consider a couple things. So, obviously, we want to make sure that it's very easy to read for the employer. So, again, keeping that same formatting as we saw kind of previously with our education. But we also really want to make sure that we're able to easily identify what we did within our soft skills or transferable skills throughout the position. That include how we gained professional skills, refined professional skills, all of these different things. So a way that we can do this more concretely is by adding numerical values or percentage values towards our experience to show exactly how well we did the job. So, for this specific example, it shows that 90% of experiments were successful. So, obviously, this is a lot more concrete than just simply stating that your experiments were successful. Similarly, in the bullet point below that, we can see that 9 out of 10 experiment results were positive. So, through these, you can see how each of these different formatting options can provide a lot of value towards the employer's understanding of your involvement and how exactly you've been able to help these other organizations with your specific skill set. With these, we also want to keep in mind that there should be anywhere between 3 to 5 bullet points just to keep it more condensed and demonstrate your awareness to organization, other skills that the employers would be able to find, not necessarily through you stating them, but necessarily by showing them. So typically, just to add on to this, when we have more than the 6 bullet points, employers typically won't read those. So just to keep it more towards their understanding of skimming through the document and only highlighting what's most relevant. Of course, these can always be expanded on throughout the cover letter or within an interview as well too, and that's highly encouraged. So your volunteer experience is going to be quite similar towards the professional experience, which we just discussed. So if it comes to a recurring position, just know that the formatting is going to be the same. If it's only a singular event that you did volunteer experience for, you can include those bullet points, but sometimes it can be a little bit harder to include those within there. So it would be a matter of just including the top portion of the formatting as we see in this box here, which would just include the position title, the dates, the organization it was with, and the location it took place at. As far as our additional qualifications and awards, this again is a very simplistic section too, but it can also add a lot of value for the employers to see how you've also been able to expand your awareness in your educated field, in other areas of awareness, skill sets, that kind of stuff. So with this, it's a matter of indicating it by the title in a bullet point, and then within brackets, the dates that it was achieved within. So as we can see, for example, here, mental health first aid qualification, July 2016. Something else that can be really important to include within this too is mentioning if it does expire. Sometimes employers might not necessarily consider that within the moment, but it can be really, really beneficial to include as well too if it does expire. So academic projects are a great way, I think, of if you don't necessarily have that concrete experience that an employer is looking for, to demonstrate that you do still have that awareness and acknowledgement of being educated within that specific realm that they're looking for. So I think it's a perfect session for any student to include, especially if you're just finishing your degree title. Your program might have an internship or a placement within it. It might not, but this is still relevant for either of those students. So again, the formatting is more of a matter of just having the title, the dates it was completed, the school's institution, and the location. But more importantly, you want to have some kind of a short description of what the paragraph was in a short paragraph format. So we'll say maybe 2 to 3 sentences at most. And this should be highlighting what the project was and your specific key contributions to the project. So just know that alongside these academic projects, this might also include personal projects, but it would still fall within the same formatting and essential formula like we've discussed with your key contributions by pairing skills with examples. So I find that this is best typically added to a resume by limiting it to 2 to 3 approximate projects that you've done. Anything more can be a little bit harder to do, but let's say, for example, if you don't have a lot of work experience or volunteer experience, then this would maybe be a section you want to consider expanding a little bit more. So when it comes to our cover letter, we really want to make sure that this is a concrete example that is specific towards the position that you're going for and not just a generalized one. I find that that's a mistake that a lot of students typically make, is just creating that general one because it's not necessarily understood the importance with it. So the cover letter is your way to describe in further detail than what your resume basically highlights in shorter context just exactly how qualified you are for it, that you are going to be a successful candidate, what value you bring to the employer, so on and so forth. So, the best way to do this, I find, is by making sure that you try and match the qualifications that you have to what exactly they're seeking within the job description as it's stated. So, how exactly is this done? Well, there's kind of a different, we'll say, specialty topic towards each of the different areas we want to focus within this. So, throughout the introduction, we really just want to have brief statements as far as what job we're applying for and why you're interested in working for this company. I'd say no more than 2 to 3 sentences for this, as it should just be very more statement like as opposed to descriptive. But when it comes to our main body, this is where we really want to further accentuate those descriptions. So we want to make sure, again, that we're using the job requirements provided within the job description, almost like a checklist to show the employer how you are the best candidate and that you really would fall successful in this throughout the positions and experiences that you do have in the past. So again, providing meaning towards the words on our resume can be very, very valuable within this section. So again, being specific, being descriptive, not overly descriptive, because we do want these paragraphs to stay shorter in length. But the best way to typically ensure that you are descriptive without being too long is by taking a specific skill you have and that they're asking for and pairing it to an example. So, of course, I'm sure there's many ways that you can think about this, and you can have each of these main body paragraphs maybe designated one towards your education and how your education has helped you with this. Another one might be geared towards a specific job or experience you have, so on and so forth, as far as having that. If you do find that you are having a hard time with either your cover letter or your resume, we do have services that can help you out with that, and that will be discussed a little bit later on in the presentation. But just know that you aren't in this alone, and we are here to help you with this because it is a little complex. But when it comes to the conclusion, again, much like the introduction, it should be very short, should be very condensed, and really just summarizing that you are very thankful for the employer's consideration of your application. It is really beneficial to ask for an interview, as this is, again, another opportunity that you can expand on the skill sets. And also just to sign it off personally by saying sincerely and your name. I find that personally, a handwritten signature or an electronically written signature can be a very nice additive touch to give it that professional flair. So when we're considering other services, or if you feel like you might want to help um, make sure that everything that you learned throughout this presentation and applying it to your own resume and cover letter is done correctly, definitely check out our website. It is lakeheadu.ca/careerzone. And this is actually a screenshot image from our website. So, of course, more thoroughly, we have all of our services described there, our ongoing events and workshops for you to see, other resources and tools that could help you within this, so on and so forth. We definitely have a lot of different services available that you're more than welcome to access. They're all free. And we would love to help you. So, thank you for attending this workshop today. And I hope that you were able to find some resourceful information from it. Take care.